All right, let's go over that practice test. The first thing to do is we've got to balance out the equation here. So we have aluminum sulfate and sodium hydroxide here. And what we got to do is, well, first thing, remembering that aluminum has a +3 charge, sulfate has a -2 charge, and there has to be 2 of those and 3 of those. Then let's figure out what happens. Think of this like a double replacement reaction. The OHs go to the Al, and the SO4s go to the NaSO4. And there you have it. So you have the AlOH3 and Na2SO4. Okay. Then we look at the precipitation chart, and we find out that this is our solid precipitate. Okay. We go with that to figure out, okay, let's write just the half reaction of just what forms the precipitate. I like to think of it backwards. I go, okay, here I am, here's my precipitate. What's it made of? It's made up of 1 aluminum and 3 of these hydroxides. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is they're asking you what the mass of the product is. And they're giving you two amounts of reactants. So you have to do a limiting reactant problem. You have to find out which one gives you the least amount of product, and then that's your limiting reactant. So let's take a look. So here it is. They gave us the mass of aluminum sulfate. You have use the molar mass, okay? And then you find the moles of aluminum sulfate. Then you use the balanced equation to figure out how many moles of product. So there's 2 moles of aluminum hydroxide for every 1 mole of aluminum sulfate, which gives us 0.0161 moles of aluminum hydroxide. Okay, let's check the other one. Over here, we have the volume of the sodium hydroxide, and they give us the molarity, which is a conversion factor from moles to liters. And they give us liters, so we convert it with moles. Then we know that for every 6 moles of sodium hydroxide, it's 2 moles of aluminum hydroxide, and then that gives us the moles of products. Okay, so let's compare the two, and we'll see that the aluminum hydroxide is much less, so that is the limiting reactant. Well, really, it just tells us that the sodium hydroxide is the limiting reactant. Then we know that this is the number of moles of product. We can't make more moles than the product allows us. So let's find the mass of this precipitate. So we start out with the moles of aluminum hydroxide, and then use the molar mass, and then you find out that it's 0.552 grams of aluminum hydroxide. Okay, that's part 1.